Once again, a very happy morning, children. Welcome to the chemistry session, Unit 16, Applied Chemistry. This is the last lesson in the chemistry unit. Okay, so in this session, we are going to see, you will come to know at the end of the session, the various branches of applied chemistry. And you will know the technology of nanochemistry. And we'll also come to know the various types of drugs that is used in this nanochemistry. Then you will understand the various uses of electrochemistry. Okay. So what are the uses of chemistry in our daily life? In our daily life, chemistry plays a very important role. So in which way chemistry plays an important role? Can anyone guess and tell me? So daily we intake food, medicines, cosmetics, dress materials and even gold covering ornaments, which are some of the items that we use in our day-to-day life, isn't it? So these are the necessary things that we are in need of to run our day-to-day life. So they may differ in nature and applications, but all these are associated with chemistry. Food, medicine, cosmetics, the dress materials and the jewels we wear, all are associated with chemistry. So they are made of synthetic or natural chemicals, isn't it? So we face lot of difficulties in different means to lead our day-to-day life. So such difficulties make chemists to come out of new ideas and theories. So we are in need of new products and new technologies. So chemists always think of coming out with new ideas and theories. So for example, when people suffered from diseases, new chemical compounds were synthesized and used as drugs. So even in this pandemic situation, many chemical industries has come out with their useful drugs to get rid of this coronavirus, isn't it? So new techniques were also developed to diagnose diseases. So when farmers suffered due to low crop yield and pest related problems in crop field, chemists developed new chemical fertilizers and pesticides to combat these issues. So thus chemical principles and theories are applied to various fields in order to achieve specific results or to solve real world problems. So this is called as applied chemistry. So what is called as applied chemistry? When farmers suffer due to low crop yield or pest related problems, chemists develop new chemical fertilizers and pesticides. So thus chemical principles and theories are applied to various fields in order to achieve specific results or to solve real world problems, and hence this is called as applied chemistry. So whatever new theories and new ideas which our chemists come out with the proper diagnosis for the diseases or whatever field, in whichever field, okay, the new ideas, whenever new ideas are come out which is based on this chemistry, so such type of new ideas are called as specific results, which help to achieve specific results or to solve the real world problems, is called as applied chemistry. So in this applied chemistry, we are going to see a particular topic which is called nanochemistry. So what is nanochemistry? So before you know the meaning for nanochemistry, you should know the knowledge. You have to get the knowledge of nanometer. What is nano? Nano means what? So 1 nanometer is equal to 1 by 1 billionth. Okay, 1 billionth meter, that is equal to 10 power minus 9. That is equal to 10 power minus, how many zeros you have? You have 9 zeros. So this 1 by 1 billionth is called as 10 power, you can write it as 10 power minus 9. So nano means it is a very smaller value. This billionth fraction is very smaller value. Microorganisms we call microbes, isn't it? That is bacteria and virus as microbes, because it is very smaller. We cannot able to see it. You can see it only through under microscope. That is why it is called as microbes. So like that, this nano means it is very smaller than that micro. Okay, so it is smaller than micro, so that is 1 nanometer is equal to 1 by 1 billionth meter, which is 10 power minus 9. So it is a branch of science, nanoscience, that deals with the chemical applications of nanomaterials in nanotechnology. So what is nanochemistry? It is a branch of nanoscience, that is a smaller particles. You are going to use smaller particles in this applied chemistry, in this nanoscience, that deals with the chemical applications of nanomaterial. Going to use nanomaterial, that is smallest materials in nanotechnology. Technology which we use this nanomaterials is called as nanotechnology. And this technology involves synthesis and manipulation of materials at atomic and molecular level. Synthesis means you are going to prepare new materials, okay, at atomic and molecular level. So this is the first point in this nanochemistry. Then the second one is the study of their physical and chemical properties. So in this nanochemistry, you are going to get the knowledge of the study of their physical and chemical properties. So now you get the point. So what is nano? 1 nanometer is equal to 1 by 1 billionth meter. So that is 10 power minus 9. 0.01 itself is a very smallest value. We consider that 0.01 itself is a very smallest value. 10 power minus 9 means 0.9 times 0, and you will get 1. So you will know the value later on. When we see the notes from the book, you can see the value of 10 power minus 9. Okay, so this is about nanochemistry. Next we will see size of nanoparticles. This is a brief about nanoparticles. So the word nano has been derived from the Greek word nanos, which is designated to represent billionth fraction of a unit. For instance, 1 nanometer is equal to 1 by billionth meter. This is very, very important. 1 nanometer is equal to 1 by 1 billionth meter. So can you imagine how small is a nanometer is? So 1 by millionth meter, that is 10 power minus 9. That is 0.0 times 9 times 0, and you will have this 1. So this is very, very, very smallest unit. So the following examples may help to illustrate how small the nanoscale is. These are some of the examples to explain you how nanometer is smaller. So 1 nanometer is 10 power minus 9 or 0.000000001 meter, which is the smallest value. A nanometer and a meter can be understood as the same size difference as between golf ball and the earth. See, earth is much bigger than the golf ball. So in front of earth, golf ball will be nothing. It is like a small dot. So a nanometer is like that only. Okay. So our nails grow 1 nanometer each second. Can you able to guess 1 nanometer? Height of 1 nanometer. Our nails grow daily 1 nanometer each second. So that is a predictable height, predictable value. Nanometer is unpredictable value. So the virus most usually responsible for the common cold has a diameter of 30 nanometer. So virus most usually responsible for the common cold, its diameter is only 30 nanometer. See how small the virus is. A cell membrane is around 9 nanometer across. Cell membrane is around 9 nanometer across. The DNA double helix is 2 nanometer across. DNA inside our body. Okay, that is double helix. It is called as double helix, which is 2 nanometer across. The diameter of one hydrogen atom is around 0.2 nanometer. Now see the properties of nanomaterials. So the nanomaterials have the structural features in between those of atoms and the bulk materials. So the properties of materials with the nanometer dimensions are significantly different from those of atoms and bulk material. Bulk means larger materials. So this is mainly because the nanometer size of the materials render them large surface area, high surface energy, spatial confinement, and reduced imperfections, which do not exist in the corresponding bulk materials. So as surface characteristics of nanoparticles are the main criteria to be considered for application. See the applications in which are all field this nanomaterial is used. It is used in sophisticated instruments like scanning electron microscope SEM, then tunneling electron microscope, that is TEM, then atomic force microscope AFM, atomic force microscope. These are all used to analyze the surface properties of a nanoparticle with high resolution. So which are all the fields this nanomaterial is used? It is used in scanning electron microscope, that is SEM, then TEM. TEM means tunneling electron microscope, then AFM is atomic force microscope. Okay, so now we will see the applications of nanochemistry. So what are the applications of nanochemistry? It has a wide range of commercial products availability today in a very broad, including nano stain resistant and wrinkle free textiles, cosmetics, in various fields. This nanochemistry is used, and we will see some of the points for this nanochemistry applications. The metallic nanoparticles can be used as very active catalyst. It is used as a catalyst. So what is the use of catalyst? In chemical reaction, catalysts are used to speed up the reaction. The particle which is used, added in the chemical reaction to speed up the reaction, is called as catalyst. So this metallic nanoparticles are used for very active catalyst. And nano coatings and nano composites are found useful in making variety of products such as sports equipments, bicycles and automobiles. In these three fields also this nano coatings are used. The nanotechnology applied in the production of synthetic skin and implant surgery. Even in the surgeries, facial surgeries and synthetic skin surgeries, this nanotechnology is used. The nanomaterials that conduct electricity are being used in electronics as minute conductors to produce circuits for microchips. These nanomaterials are used as an electronic as minute conductors to produce circuits for microchips. These nanoparticle substances have extensive applications in the preparation of cosmetics, deodorants, that is a perfume and sunscreen, lotion, and all in the cosmetics also. Cosmetic fields also these nanomaterials are used. Then nanoparticle substances are incorporated in fabrics to prevent the growth of bacteria. To prevent bacteria in the textile industries, these nanoparticles are used. And nanochemistry is used in making space, defense and aeronautical devices. In space devices also this nanochemistry is used. So we have many applications for this nanochemistry. This is 4-mark question, important questions. Whatever topic now we are dealing are all come under 4-mark questions. Okay, so please be thorough with all the points whatever you are reading. So now we will see some of the drawbacks. If anything which has advantages will also have drawbacks, isn't it? So drawbacks of nanomaterials in chemistry. The nanoparticles are unstable when they react with oxygen. Nanoparticles are unstable. Stable means it remain quiet. Unstable means we cannot predict the moving position, right? So when they react with oxygen, it is unpredictable how the reaction will be, outcome will be. So their exothermic combustion with oxygen can easily cause explosion. So whenever combines with oxygen, it may cause explosion, severe danger. So because nanoparticles are highly reactive, they inherently interact with impurities as well. So it may also combine with the impurities so that new product may produce. So that is not good for the chemical field. The nanomaterials are biologically harmful and toxic. It is difficult to synthesize, isolate and apply them. Okay, the segregation of this nanomaterial is very, very difficult. And there are no hard and fast safe disposal policies for nanomaterials. So after the combination of these nanomaterials, it is really, really difficult to dispose these nanomaterials. It is hard to dispose the nanomaterials. Now we will see these nanoparticles, how it is used in the pharmaceutical chemistry. So what is pharmaceutical chemistry? Pharmacy means what? Where we get drugs. Okay, so drugs means whichever medicine that we use to cure the diseases are called as drugs. Okay, so the drugs are made up of chemical compositions in nature, and pharmaceutical chemistry deals with the preparation of drugs and the study of chemical composition, nature, behavior, structure and influence of the drug in an organism, condition of the storage and therapeutic uses of the drugs. So drug discovery is the core of pharmaceutical chemistry. So now we will see the explanation for the drugs. So even though we use so many chemicals in our daily life, the chemicals used for treating diseases are termed as drug. It is termed as drug. So the word drug is derived from the French word drogue, which means a dry herb. It is derived from a French word drogue, which means a dry herb. Okay, so drug is nothing but it is used in our daily life. The chemical used for treating diseases are termed as drug, and the word is derived from the French word drogue, which means a dry herb. Okay, so according to World Health Organization, a drug is defined as follows. This is the definition for drug. It is a substance or product that is used or intended to be used to modify or explore physiological systems or pathological states for the benefits of the recipient. So recipient is whoever intake the drug. They are called as recipient. Okay, so it is a substance. Drug is a substance or a product that is used or intended to be used to modify or explore physiological systems or pathological states for the benefit of the recipients. So now we will see the characteristics of drugs. This is also an important 4-mark question. Characteristics of drugs. A drug must possess the following characteristics. It should not be toxic. It should not be poisonous. The drug should not be poisonous. Okay. It should not cause any side effects. After taking the pills, it should not affect our body. There should not be any side effects. It should not affect the receptor tissues. Whatever tissues we have, that is allergy. It should not produce any allergy to the tissues. It should not affect the normal physiological activities. After taking the pills, it should not affect physiological activities, means sleeping, walking, running, bending, stretching our hands. So like that activities are called as seeing, watching, talking. All these activities are called as physiological activities. So whenever we take a pill, it should not affect all the normal physiological activities. And it should be effective in its action. So for what purpose we are taking the pill? That purpose has to be done whenever it is taken inside. Okay, so if we are taking a pill to cure fever, means after taking it after 2-3 hours, it should show some result to cure the fever. That means we sweat or our body pain has to get rid of, like that. It has to be effective in its action. Okay, so these are the characteristics. These are the characters that a drug should possess. Okay, very simple characters that you know normally how a drug should be. So now see the sources of drug. It is given in the tabular column in the same page. Sources of drugs. So from where do we get these drugs? So from plants you can get morphine and quinine drugs, and from chemical synthesis it is aspirin and paracetamol. These tablets, these names are familiar names, as we often get this from the medical shops, from the pharmacies. So animal source, insulin, heparin, and from the mineral source we get liquid paraffin, and from microorganism it is penicillin, and from genetic engineering it is human growth hormone. It is human growth hormone. Okay, so these are the sources and drug. This is also an important tabular column. It may also ask in 2 mark or in 4 mark. So from plants we get morphine or quinine. For chemical synthesis we get aspirin, paracetamol. Then animals, insulin, heparin. Then from minerals it is liquid paraffin. Then from microorganism it is penicillin. Then genetical engineering we get human growth hormone. Okay, now we will see the types of drugs. What are the types of drugs? There are many types of drugs. 2 types of drugs that we are going to see now. The drugs fall into 2 general categories. So what are they? The first one is the drugs that are used in the treatment and cure of any specific disease. So this is a normal drug that we use for the treatment to cure of any specific particular disease. Fever means fever, cold means cold. So like that, such a specific disease, the drugs which we take to treat some specific diseases. Then other one is the drugs that have some characteristic effect on the animal organism but do not have any remedial effect for a particular disease. This class includes morphine, cocaine, etc. So can you understand the second point? Read once again. The drugs that have some characteristic effect on the animal organism. Animal organism, we also fall under animal organism. Okay, human being also comes under animal organism. So we doesn't have some specific characteristic effect when we take such particular drug, but do not have any remedial effect for a particular disease. But after taking the drugs, there is no treatment, there is no remedial effect, there is no result for the intake of the drug. Okay, so this class includes morphine, cocaine, etc. Such type of drugs. These are the examples. Okay, these 2 are the examples given: morphine, cocaine, etc. Is that clear? So now first we will see anesthetics. So what purpose we use this anesthetic? Have you heard the word anesthetic? What is anesthetic? Have you heard the word before, anesthetic? During surgery, doctors prescribe this anesthesia injection. Have you heard of this? For what purpose we use this anesthetic? So the drugs which cause loss of sensation are called anesthetics. The chemical which we use to lose our sensation is called as anesthetics, and they are given to the patients when they undergo surgery, when they go on for a major operation in the hospitals. This anesthetics is given. Okay, so for a normal purpose this anesthesia has to be used. Okay, so types of anesthetics. When patients undergo a major surgery in internal organs, some anesthetics are given so that they lose sensation completely. But when they undergo a minor surgery in a specific part of the body, anesthetic is given to lose sensation around that particular part. In a particular area, we lose the sensation in a particular area. There are two types of anesthetics. The one is to undergo major surgery. Whenever we undergo major surgery in internal organs, some anesthetics are given so that we will lose the sensation in our whole body. Whereas some of the few anesthetic is used to give and lose sensation around the particular region. So these are the two classes of anesthetics as given below. So what are they? General anesthetics, and another one is local anesthetics. So what is general anesthetics? They are the agents which bring about loss of all modalities of sensation, particularly pain, along with irreversible loss of consciousness. For example, when a surgery is carried out on internal organs, these anesthetics are given. Internal organs like when there is a surgery in our heart or in the lungs or inside a brain, this type of anesthetics used. That is, the whole part of the body will lose the sensation. Till we regain the consciousness, this sensation, this anesthetic will be present inside the body. The patient loses consciousness for specific period of time depending on the duration of surgery and get it back later. So this is called as general anesthetics. What is local anesthetic? They prevent the pain sensation in localized areas without affecting the degree of consciousness. For example, dentists give patients this kind of anesthetics when carry a major or minor surgery in teeth. Okay. So the rest of the things we will see in the second session. Thank you.